So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find then the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage. So then we understand the time of the end, time of restoration, and also reduction at the same time. We read then from the original manuscripts, from the Israelic lineage, 61st chapter of Yeshayahu. From the 61st until the end, you find many layers related with the time of the end and the restoration. So then, during these days, then the delineation then is very clear from first son of Ibrahim and then the second son of Ibrahim. We understand then what it means, the time of restoration. There is then a section in the Holy Quran where we find then many interesting topics, and many of them related then with the objective of the sons of Ishmael. So we find these scriptures very interesting, because through them then we understand what it means of trade, and then also their ability of doing trade. So what can we understand from the sons of Ishmael? Those people are people of trade. They are not people of religion. When they analyze what the Holy Quran teaches us regarding then trade, those people should be the first. So then, let's try to understand what the Holy Quran teaches us regarding the first son. Ibrahim then had the first son with Hagar. He was a stationary son, and then a son given the objective of leading the world's trade. Precisely the objective of the Ishmaelites. Where do we find an evidence of it? You find during the time of Pharaoh, when Joseph then was sold into slavery, then the Ishmaelites then were coming through on caravan. So then we understand what it means, and then what these people should be doing. So Allah, the great Allah, has taught them the great mysteries of trade. Should they be involved with religion? No. They should not be involved with religion, because these people are tradespeople. They do believe Allah. They do believe then the Creator has given them what is required then for the trade related. So then, let's read the Holy Quran absolutely without questioning it, because the penalty of questioning the Quran is death. Very clear. So let's understand what Allah has taught us as then we read this holy instruction. Please have in mind, when there are translations from other languages, then the translators sometimes they use words in other language that does not mean the same. So let's study, make sure then we understand the unquestionable Quran. Surah 22nd chapter Al-Hajj. We find in the 36th verse. And we, then the Ishmaelites, the first son, or the lineage of the Ishmael, have made for you then the camels for sacrifice as among of the symbols from Allah. So the translator made a mistake in terms of the way he translated the holy instructions from the Quran. You don't read sacrificing camels. So then, the translator, not the original manuscript, because the Quran is never questionable. So then we focus, the translators then made a mistake, because they did not understand the content as the Quran has taught us. Then enlightenment. You read the Quran with enlightenment. You have to have enlightenment read the Holy Quran. It is stated in many areas of it. So then, without questioning the Quran, we understand this area was then translated with words from the translator, where then we have the wrong idea. So let's understand what then went on. They were then the people of trade, first son of Ibrahim. They were very acquainted with the fiscal notes, and then with money, with trade, with gold, with silver, you name it. They were very used to it. So then, would they sacrifice the camels? No, the camels were then the vehicles of the desert where they would bring then the provisions. From where then, because they sensed the Creator on their favor. Yet they did not use this 100% of the joy of what the Creator has given them, but they take a portion of what they have as a symbol of sacrifice. So then you understand, sacrificing the provisions, so they would not enjoy themselves 100%, but they would give then a section of this joy to the Creator who gave them this leadership. So they are tradespeople. Then, Surah 22nd chapter, Al-Hajj, 41st verse. Those are the believers who, if we establish them firmly, how would they establish them firmly? Those who have enlightenment. Of course, because Quran is enlightenment. Because we should never question it from the original manuscript, then it is enlightenment. So then, they are establishing these believers empowered in the land. Very clear. Power of the land. Power of the land means trade. They establish a regular prayer and give regular charity. Thanksgiving. This is what it means. Then enjoying the right and so on and so forth, and with the Creator rests the end of the rest of it. Now, let's ask this question. Are the sons of Ishmael being industrious? Or are they being overly religious? They have to make their own inventory of what their objectives are. What has then the great Creator gave them? Was it then only trade or only religion? How do you obtain religion from the objective? First you have to do the trade. Then with what you trade, you set aside a section of it and you are grateful. Now, are they generating industry, generating jobs, generating trade, or they are generating religion? They have to ask themselves. We are only studying what the Holy Quran has taught us, because the Quran is very clear. Those who are believers, who, if we establish them firmly in power of the land, they establish a regular thanksgiving. Because when you read the 22nd to 36th, gives you the understanding of the leadership. Those are tradespeople. Later, the younger son, he knew. The older son would be, then the lineage of the older son would be in charge of the time of the restoration period. Now let me ask you this. Are they being industrious, productive, trading, or they are then causing trouble with their religion? They have to ask themselves. Nobody can take him by the hand, because they have to have enlightenment. If they have the Quran, they must have enlightenment, or they don't belong to the Quran. Is that true? Or they don't read, or they don't understand, or something. So then, the objective of the first son's lineage is trade. Then then with what they earn, they are grateful. As we understand, the very important decisions of the future from nation, other nation, and another nation, when they come together as they begin to prosper worldwide, then Arabia is going to be the center of reunions, because they come from the lineage of Ishmael, including ourselves. Or we don't understand the time of restoration. Can we cling to the old ways of the 1,000 years of deceit? No, because the system is coming. It's not one world order. Those were concocted during the time of deceit, because there was no directives back then. But then the Holy Quran and the Israelic writings are indicating the time of the restoration and reduction, where each have his objective. In terms of then tabernacling, is that from the first son or the second? It's the second son. So then the first son should be engaging in what? Trade. They should be very industrious. And then with a portion of what they have, they sacrifice. Sacrifice what? Camels, those animals that are then bringing the provisions? No. They sacrifice a portion of what they earn. But trade comes first. They have to work. If they don't show industriality, how can they show then the Quran? The Quran is teaching first to work, and then set aside a section, and then be grateful. Boy, if they don't understand this principle, then they are ignorant, stupid, and goes, the list is nearly unlimited. So then over there in Australia, while then the Netherlands Prime Minister is doing his talk, maybe the Ishmaelites should listen for a bit. Because from the Quran has the Prime Minister speaking of industriality. Industry. No, he's not. He's complaining about religion. This means then the Ishmaelites are not doing what they should be doing. They should be industrious. And making religion their industry doesn't work, because it goes against the Holy Quran. Can they question the Holy Quran? No. Otherwise the whole group should be then hanged. Do they not teach if any person comes against the Quran there is a penalty of death? So if they don't understand they should work and then be grateful for what they earn, then they should be hanged. Either they do what the Quran states or don't. So then when we read from the original manuscripts of the Quran, it's very clear. The first son is related with industry, trade. And then with a portion of it, they teach others how to do trade and then be grateful. So then we do what the Quran states us to do. If they are going around and trying, this and the other about Islam and blah blah blah, are you being industrious? What is then your country doing industrial-wise? Yeah, because Islam has nothing to do with religion. Not asking regarding religion. What were your trades prior to speaking of religion? You can't put trade in front of. If you don't have any trade, how you are going to speak of religion? So then Allah, He is truly merciful and gracious. But then, can Allah have grace and mercy regarding the people that don't even listen to Him? Time of restoration and reduction. Restoration of what? The first person that came, and then the Creator had a relationship with. So then we understand the third order of events. But then the sons of Ishmael going around, and then they do patrols on the road where they are not asked for. Then they go around mutilating their own wives' genitals. And then they go around, they don't speak of how industrious they are, or the trade, but then they are very religious. The understanding is out of balance. So let's read the Quran and be wise, enlightened, and balance a bit. Just stay tuned, much more coming up.